Emily Morgan, welcome to eXp Chat. How are you today?
I'm fantastic for a Friday morning, and thanks for having me.
I love Fridays, don't we? Even though Saturday's really still our work day.
Fridays, either a Thursday or a Friday, generally I find that agents will try and take a couple of hours either one of those afternoons because we have to work all weekend. And that's
Yeah.
okay. Blend it.
Easier said than done sometimes. But yes, absolutely. It looks like you're cold down there. Now you're in Melbourne, Victoria,
Yes, I am indeed.
with eXp. So tell us a little bit about your journey, because you're now the licensee of Victoria
Yes, and Queensland. I'm
and Queensland.
currently director of the country. Look, my journey, I've been in real estate for 15 years. I've really been, I guess, always thinking that it should be and could be done better or in a different way. I never really understood the people sort of being up against one another. I never understood the non-camaraderie inside offices. I'd never understood why we were giving half of it away. And I'd always been searching. And I had been through a couple of different companies with different offerings, if you will. But then I found eXp, and I'm so grateful that I have.
So how long ago did you join eXp?
When it was, I guess, launching in Australia, so late 2019, early 2020.
Yeah. So just prior to COVID really ramping up.
Yes.
And before that, you ran some other offices, didn't you? Is that right?
Oh, look, I've done coaching, I've done training, I've done recruitment, I've done listing and selling. I guess I've had a hand in all the different facets, if you will, of real estate. Apart from property management, that's one thing that I don't really think is my thing.
No, me neither. But look, some people are great at it. So my question for you is, now that you've seen eXp start, what are the three or maybe three main points that you love about the company?
Oh, wow. I love the freedom.
Everyone says that.
And when I say the freedom, I mean this. I mean, firstly, if I choose to walk out of here tomorrow, I walk out with everything. That's freedom, because everything I work on a daily basis is all mine. The database gets downloaded if I leave and given to me. Even my reviews on realestate.com.au, all of that stuff. So that's freedom. Not having to show up at an office and be answerable to anybody about how many calls you've made, how many doors you've knocked on, why aren't you here at 7:46 a.m. when we have an 8 a.m. meeting? I'm locking the doors. It's just true freedom, Lee. It's real freedom where you actually get to decide. And I think that there's so much in that. It's wonderful. And then there's extra freedom, freedom to go and build a team without forking out for an office, freedom to do really cool marketing that you had always been told no to, freedom to use your own suppliers when usually you're locked into those. It's just freedom on freedom on freedom. So I love
I
the
love all
freedom.
those points. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the splits. Somebody was on the phone last night trying to convince me to join them because they're opening up a new office, and I just said I can't. I just can't. You can't offer what these guys offer, and I love my 100%, and I love my revenue share, and I love the freedom. The other thing is I love the people that I work with. I think that something like eXp, it brings a certain I guess caliber of people, and they tend to be my people. They tend to be really open-minded, jump right out of the fishbowl, let's just do it kind of people. And I love those that I work with, because those that I work with, like yourself, like Icon Agents, the people like you, Lee, that are out there doing all the business, are training our other people every single week on all your secrets for free.
It's good culture, good collaboration, isn't it? Yeah.
So those are the things that
I
I
love that. Yeah, your freedom. And I mean, owning everything. How many times and I've left a bunch of different agencies in the past where you walk out and they'll take your commissions. They'll take more of your commissions. They'll make sure you can't take your database, mostly.
Not even a restraint of trade here.
And then there's restraints of trade as well.
Down the road. Yeah.
So that's crazy. So that's the one thing that gave me good confidence when the eXp just said, look, come in, give it a go. You can walk away.
That's exactly,
I mean, it's a big decision to make that jump, isn't it, really? But certainly that gave me some level of confidence. Hey, these guys aren't going to take
That's how I
everything.
saw it. It was risk
Yeah,
free. So I get to
yeah,
start my own business and it's all about me. And I got this little badge in the corner. But if at any point I don't like it, there is actually no risk. I just remove the badge.
yeah, yeah. And that's, I mean, you sort of talk about doing your own thing, and you know how I am, Emily, with meetings, because we have so many different meeting
Yep.
opportunities at eXp,
Yep.
which you can tap into at your choice, and I tap into things at my choice. But I never feel bad if I'm not there. Whereas previous companies, you were sort of shunned if you weren't there,
Yep.
and
You
I
were.
always felt meetings were, sometimes a waste of time and more negative than positive. So
And a lot
I
of
love
people,
the ability to be able to do with your time what you want to do with your time.
yes, because a lot of
So,
people do things differently. And not all of those meetings that are opportunity meetings are going to be for that person or what that person's leaning towards in terms of their goals. And this came up yesterday when I was talking to a really well-known coach. He said, leaders are there to help you to reach goals. And I'm like, yep. So long as it's actually that person's goals, because I find so many leaders are pushing people towards goals that suit the company or suit them rather than their goals,
mm,
what they want for themselves and their
mm.
business and their lives, because I don't want to write $1 million a year. I have way too many children, you know.
Yeah,
But it's what about it's going to suit you?
yeah. I
Yeah,
like that. That's a really good point.
you got
Because
that
everyone is
freedom
different.
there.
Everyone's got different goals. And I guess on one front, there's that culture of collaboration, which you touched on, here to support you with those goals. Like I can pick up the phone with you, Emily, which I often do,
Yep.
and say, Emily, I've got this issue at the moment. I've got this happening, and bouncing some ideas off you and getting some help with that. Generally, I'm a self-starter.
Yep.
So on the other hand, I can just look at eXp and go, okay, well, there's this session on. I'm going to jump onto that because that's where I'm heading.
Yep.
So yeah, it's great to have that number one collaboration. If you need it there, it is always there. And we've got like-minded people. Like we all seem to click
You know
and
what Peter
share.
Forbes says, and it's a real mic drop. When he said it to me, he said, I love eXp because I get to be completely independent but never lonely.
Yeah, yeah. Because it can be a lonely game, can't it?
It can, but you've got sort of all the support, but as much as you want it without people sort of being in your space. Because I'll be honest, I don't really enjoy working in a lot of offices. There's far too many politics and people talking in the background that should be working, and
That's exactly why I went
it's
into
not
real
for
estate, to get
everyone.
away from it. I mean, yeah, my background in executive management roles with big companies like Woolworths and Aldi supermarkets. This is why I'm a stickler for not attending meetings if I don't
Yeah.
think they're worthy, is because Aldi did meetings so well. And they were
Ah,
so purposeful that if you were not purposeful, you'd get kicked in the butt. And after
well,
that
actually,
experience, every other meeting that I went to just didn't have purpose.
nothing.
And I could never influence it. I could never say, look, I think we should be doing something different here, because they would just say, no, this is how we do things.
Wow.
And that's what eXp
Actually,
is good at.
famously, Elon Musk the other day said, I think meetings should be productive and should be purposeful. And I think that if it's not serving somebody, they should actually have the ability to get up and leave the meeting without being found rude.
Yeah, 100%.
I love it.
100%. And look, that's one of the biggest freedoms for me is, being able to now do that, because I joined real estate to get away from that corporate world of policies and this and that.
Yep.
And then I got into real estate and there was still a lot of that happening. But now with eXp, I am my own company. I am my own brand. I own everything. I've got the best team and support structures behind me in the world to help me do my job. And, and the other thing you touched on as well, which is that collaboration piece, the culture, is that we're incentivized to bring people into the company.
Yeah.
You
Through
know?
the company dollar. You're not taking it from another agent. That's what
No,
I extra love. The company is
company pays.
incentivizing you. Yep.
So I can earn 100% commissions. I can, talk to people about how good the company is. If they want to join, they come in, which is great. They get incentivized. I get incentivized. And the other thing about this is, perhaps we overlook it, but we create this team. So like we're getting some big teams in eXp right now
Yeah,
of
we are.
people working together, teams that are bigger than most normal franchise offices.
Yes, I love that you said that, because I noted the other day, if you had an office if you had our people in one office per state, my goodness me, it would be a huge office. And even I look at, say, the very sort of tight-knit team that I have here in Victoria myself, and still go, there are entire offices that still have less agents and are actually creating less transactions. I'm not sure how they're still open, but they are. And so you can do this, and it's amazing. And honestly, once you see it and experience it, you can't unsee it and unexperience it, can you?
No, I found that too. And a lot of people are skeptical. I was too.
Yeah.
But once I saw the information, delved into it, I was just like, oh. And you know, my story, I've got Ricky Carruth over there in the States, world-class trainer, real estate coach. You know, I jumped on a call with him this morning.
Wow.
I mean, isn't it amazing how we can have this opportunity to connect with all these different people across the world? And I know other teams around Australia have that same sort of connectivity.
Funny you say that, because that call that just came through is from somebody who's in North Carolina, who has one of the biggest teams I know, and has just recruited a major team in Australia as well.
Yeah.
So wow. It's major collaboration that's happening, and you know, I can pick up the phone and call 85,000 other agents, including the CEO right now. So how cool is that?
It's pretty amazing, huh?
Might be in bed.
Where to from here for you, Emily? Now you've got a really cool background story, and I just want to connect on this quickly because I think it's important for those mothers that perhaps are listening out there. You're very ambitious and very much a go-getter, I can tell. But you're also very much about a family. You've got 4 children, is that right? Have I got that?
Well, pre-COVID, I had 2, and then we
Oh.
adopted one and had another. So
As you do.
Well, now we have 4. Well, it wasn't in the plans, but clearly someone was laughing at me while I was making plans. And look, I call it a blend, and I don't think that you can have these separation points that everybody talks about. I have to smash it together, if you will, and blend it all together, and I have to be super organized, and in the 2 to 3 hours space that I have, I might have to rock 5 to 6 hours worth of a normal person's work, right?
Yeah.
So it is bang, as soon as I've got that space, you've got to get stuff done. You've got to take no prisoners. And sometimes I will have to ignore emails, phone calls, and everything else that comes in, whereas most people will go, oh, new email, oh, new text message.
Yeah.
And it takes you here, there, and everywhere. Whereas I go, no, this hour I'm doing this hour I'm doing this, and this hour I'm doing this. Otherwise, when all the kids and the family come home and they need stuff from me, I feel like I'm half in, half out in both jobs.
Yeah.
And I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
It's not a me.
I can relate.
I don't like it. And so I need to have that stuff done. So I've got clear space to go, cool, what do you need from me now? I'll get that done, and then I'll re-pick up my phone.
You've got to be very organized to be a mother of 4 and also a director of a company and licensee and have all these demands put on you. So well done.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, that's a really good thing. I mean, you talked about icon agents, and again, if people want more information, get in touch with us. But, you know, we give back to the people that work with us. So once you've reached a certain level, you then teach people. And that's another thing. If we want to learn about organizational skills, we could have a session with Emily about that sort of thing, you know?
Yep.
It's just amazing. And we're not sort of against each other, fighting one another. We're just sort of giving as much as we can to each other so we can all grow.
And if you ask a question in one of our groups or to our group, you'll probably get 10 different answers within 10 minutes.
You will, yeah.
It's amazing.
You've got to sometimes avoid asking questions in there because it can be
information overload.
I sort of don't get on there too often, but when I do, I ask a question and suddenly there's all this information. And I'm just like, whoa.
Oh no, everyone wants to help me. What a shame.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to have. Look, thanks for coming on, Emily. It's been a pleasure taking time out for us today. eXp chats with eXp agents here in Australia.
Thank you, Lee.
Appreciate it. Talk again.